Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Today, it's going to be a different layout because we're going to talk about the tools that we're going to use to make assist hooks. There's different reasons why I'm doing this. There are some guys that actually do DIYs for their tools, and showing you proper ones would actually get your gears moving. I'll give you pointers on exactly what to look for and what to put in if you're doing your DIY. Of course, the option to buy them is always there. And I did buy these. Okay, so the tools I'm using are from Cultiva. Okay, so there's the receipt. Had to run to the shop to get them so that I have them. It's just that they're not in packs, and I wanted to show you guys the packs, just so for the ones that are actually looking to buy, you have a reference. So one tool is this bobbin right here, or actually this is properly, it's called a bobbin holder. This is the bobbin. It's like a small spool. We'll talk more about this later on. I have the needle. Okay, so this is the Cultiva needle. And there's also this one, okay, which we bought, or which was free when we bought this. So again, something quite handy there. And then we have a whip finishing tool, and this will give you really clean knots after. Now, aside from that, you'll need a pair of scissors. This is what I have. Ceramic head. It lasts a bit longer than ordinary stainless steel. It also retains its sharpness longer. Very convenient with this attachment right here to sharpen your hooks. If you don't want to use this, you can use box cutters. Okay, aside from that, we have super glue, which I use to protect the bindings. I like this better than actually just shrink wrapping it or using epoxy. Now, I've used all sorts of things, including UV glue, which I don't really like. And I'll explain later while we're doing stuff. Aside from that, sometimes you need a lighter, okay, either to burn the ends, especially when you're using these right here, okay, which are the ones with the mono core, or just to keep things tidy. You could do that. And also sometimes there's fuzz, like the stuff that you find at the end. If you run a lighter just like that, okay, the fuzz actually disappears, and making things just cleaner. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie an assist hook, a very simple one, just so you can see how I do things. Okay, so very first thing is obviously get the materials. We have solid ring right there. We have well, let's just use these. So we have one hook right there. Okay, something that I actually forgot to mention is the this right here. It's a fly tying vise. As you can see, this isn't fancy, but what it is that it's something that would hold your hook, and you have a very solid point there. Now when you're tying, it's just good. All right, so in this instance, what we're gonna do actually first is we're gonna do the solid ring. Okay, what we are going to, I'm not gonna teach you how to make an assist hook, because I have quite a few videos of that, but I'll just show you exactly how I use the tool, so just pay attention to that. So we're gonna be using this what do you call this cord right here. Okay, what we want is something that long. Strider's on a rampage. Okay, so I'm not gonna even make measurements there. See, this is the whole reason why you want that, because it gives you very clean cuts. Now, if you want really clean assist hooks, that's very important. Now, let's use this needle. Okay, now very straightforward. It works the same way as this one. Okay, so put it in like so, get your midpoint. Now once you get your midpoint, you go in a little bit more, just like that, and you can see you have like a tiny bit of space there, the gap. Okay, and then push it through. A bit flimsy, and it does take a little bit of getting used to. Okay, so you have that, pull that in there like so. Okay, and then pull it back just like that. Okay, so we're gonna do that with the solid ring now. Put that in there like so, slide it up the very end, So it grips it, and then we pull. Once you get to the end, push back just like that, pull on this, and then push. And you'll see that you have a very good and clean splice. Okay, now we have our hook right there. Okay, now the most important thing to remember when you're doing this is that when you actually clamp it, it's most of the vices actually have an adjustment knob. You could see it there. Let me just turn. Okay, so you can see that there's an adjustment knob right there. Okay, and that's what you actually adjust. And what you do is adjust it so that you could just move the hook like that. Okay, give yourself some space and then clamp. When you clamp on, what happens, because you could still move that hook around, it's just holding it firmly. As you can see there, it's still holding it firmly, but it is secure. Okay, now we have this. Okay, one of the functions of this needle is to be able to actually put it inside like that. Okay, you can see there, and then take your line to have tension on this. What you do before you actually thread is do 3 wraps around one leg. That gives you tension. 2, 3, like so. Put it inside the needle. There we go. So you can see, there we go. Okay, now I learned this in fly tying. What you do is actually do a thread base. When you're doing a base, and when you do that, what happens is, go back. Okay, and just like fly tying, you have to always keep things tidy, so we cut that. Okay, now when you do a thread base, what happens is when you put your cord, it doesn't slip. Okay, we're gonna have to remove this because we are going to insert the hook just like that. Some people like a long tag end, some people don't. So it's really up to you. I like my tags short because it keeps it cleaner. Okay, and then so you have this wrap right here just at the very end, like so. Okay, take one wrap and then bind it. Okay, so the bobbin, when you have it, it's actually making everything easier and it'll give you more control. So your wraps should be close to each other, and because of the tension that I put in here, my wraps are actually going in tight. As you can see, it's actually compressing everything there, and that's what you want, because you want that to be as thin as possible. Okay, making it cleaner. Now remember when I told you that I wanted to tell you what the spool or the bobbin was for? Because it's heavy, when I let go, things are in place. It's not gonna move around. Even if there's wind or you have your fan on, everything, the knot actually just stays where it should. It's not going to slip, and that's very, very important. Okay, now one thing that I've actually learned in fly fishing, okay, is that when you're tying flies, it's always a good idea to keep on just dropping super glue, because what will happen is that will actually kind of sandwich the thing in place, and while you're wrapping, you're gluing at the same time, and it protects the wraps. Okay, this is new super glue, but there's okay, always keep this handy right here. There we go, so that the flow is just right. So there's a bit of super glue there which we can use. Now just a drop like so. Okay, and run it around, spread it. Okay, so that when you're tying, you're actually pushing the glue in, and you can't do that with other types because this is kind of thin and it can penetrate the wraps, and that's the most important bit. Now again, we're already tying with some tension on our braid, so it keeps it tight and clean. And you can see from your end right there, when you see that my wraps are very consistent and they're actually taking off all the exposed braid, and that's what you want, just to keep everything clear. While we're doing this, you can see that the glue, I don't know if you can see it, but what I can see is that the glue is popping up, and this is good because it, again, it helps everything just stay in place. Okay, like that. Okay, a little bit more, just so we make it very clean and tidy. Now, normally I would speed through this. It's I mean, when you're actually tying flies, some of them are quite complicated, and these would be kind of easy. It's quite big, so it's fine, but it's just easier for us, at least those that tie flies. Okay, now normally when I finish my knots, what I do is I would go like that and then do my whip finish. But with this, okay, what you do is go around the back here, and then you see that it catches that, and this forms a triangle. Okay, so you see the line there, it forms a triangle, and then you go like that. Now the good thing about this is that it's big, see? Okay, like that. And then when you're done, you just take that off the hook, and because the back there is actually pegged on here, what happens is that there's no twist in the line. Normally when you're doing that with your hands, there's a twist. Now either you use your scissors, but how you do it is actually just point it up like that and then pull your line, or you could use a knife to do the same. So you don't really cut it. If you're cutting it, there's going to be a tag left there, but look, see, just like that, and you'll see that it's actually very, very clean. Now at this point we're done. What I'll do is apply a light coat like so. Now if you saw earlier, I actually used a piece of wire to poke the super glue. So we're gonna take that thing again, okay? And why I have this around is this is the one I use to spread. Just to make sure that everything is spread. And you'll see that once it's spread, okay, here's the secret, guys, okay? Normally when you use super glue, what happens is that it whitens up, okay? What I do is actually I don't put it near something that moves, like that moves the air, like an electric fan or even your AC. Just leave it and it won't whiten up. That's it. That's the biggest secret there when it comes to this. So now that you have that, when it gets dry, what you could do is either pull on it just to set it, okay, like what we're doing here, just also to test, okay? So that's not going anywhere. So that's it, done. Leave it like that, okay? Leave it like that, hang it somewhere, and that's gonna dry really, really clear, and that's it. So these tools just make everything more efficient. Now normally it takes me just a few minutes to actually make something like this. You do it in batches, of course, if you're doing production. Very, very easy. The tools make it easier, okay? Most important thing there is that you always maintain the tension. Of course, if you have a PR knotter, okay, this is very good. You can adjust the tension with this knob and then have your braid, and again, something that you could easily use. The biggest issue I have with this is really the spool size, and the capacity for this is only a few meters. So I use this type of spool. It has the weight so that when you're wrapping and let's say you stop, you just let it hang and things won't unravel. Okay, now that's especially useful if you're using or if you're making assist hooks with flash. The weight actually just keeps everything in place, and that's the most important thing there. So you want the weight. All right, so yeah, I hope that, you know, if either you make or you buy these tools, and it just makes life easier for you, and yeah, makes things more efficient. And look at that, super clean. All right, so guys, I really hope this video is useful for you, and that it's helpful, and at least you kind of know which tools to use, how to use them, and the reason why I use these. All right, so it just makes everything easier because I don't have to hold the assist hook when I'm making it, okay? Making it very efficient because with these tools, it makes it faster, and it just makes the whole thing easier, okay? So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next one.